unbox this 50-pound collection with me that I won at an auction. And actually, this was a couple separate auctions. My dad was coming over, so honestly, I was not careful with these prices. I just wanted to buy some things that would be fun to go over with. In total, I spent $225, and it was 4 separate auctions. I definitely do not think I got a steal for this. Again, I wanted something to come in time, and with these auctions, you really got to be patient to find the good stuff at a good price. But let's dive into it. So this first box was kind of just the same set, which I personally enjoy when there's a bunch of different cards flipped upside down, different years, different sports. It's kind of hard to go through, but when there is a rhyme or a reason to it, it's much easier to go through. So I really enjoyed going through these cards. And these collections are not really YouTube friendly. Like I said, 50 pounds is like, I don't even know, 10,000 cards, 5,000 cards. It's a lot. So it took a couple hours to go through. So I'm only going to go over like the bigger hits and some other things that I found that were cool. So in that set, here were kind of the bigger names. We have a John Elway, 2 Michael Strahams, Brett Favre, J.J. Stokes, rookie card, and a Jerome Bettis. And also in this collection, there's this 2020 Optic box. I honestly thought it might be empty, but there are some rookies in there. And 2020 is a good year for football, so I'm like, this will be fun to go through. Now, again, you can't expect really anything from this, but I always find it weird how there's modern football cards or modern cards in general with these older cards. You know, just I want to know the story behind this collection, but we did get a Josh Allen in this cool insert. And now for the big box. Oh, it might look like everything's in order, but when I first opened this, things were flipped around the wrong way, not in order, and that just takes a long time to go through. Again, this collection is not YouTube friendly because it takes hours. It's a ton of fun. It really is. But most of the video, if I were to record this, would be me flipping cards around and just getting them ready. Look at that rated rookie. I've always found it so interesting. The design of the rated rookie, I did not know it stayed the same for the last couple of decades. So going through this, again, you kind of have to identify sets, right? You pull out the big names, the cards that you want, because in a set, a lot of these older cards, people set collected. So there can be up to 1,000 cards per set, and that's a lot to go through. But if they're all in the same place, you can quickly, look up the rookie year, see who you're looking for, see the players you want to collect. Thankfully, this collection did have a lot of the sets in order. But anyways, speaking of the rated rookie, look at this Donruss logo. Again, I did not know that this logo has stayed the same. And actually, Donruss, pretty cool story. It's the name of Douglas, Donald, and Russell, the founders of Donruss. Yeah, and Panini bought them out, which was pretty cool. And just reading more into it, there's a bunch of lawsuits going on between these trading cards. And it's like nothing has changed today where people fight for the rights, people sue each other. All right, and we have some NASCAR cards. Now this Jeff Gordon, this meant a lot to me. My favorite NASCAR driver growing up. So that will be the card of this collection that I'm going to put away. I choose one card from each collection to just honor it and save. And look at this. This is I think 1999 football. A lot of rookies. Here's a Drew Bledsoe insert. Dan Marino. Here's a numbered card. And then a Dan Campbell. So these I send to ComC, right? Torrey Holt. I send them to ComC. They're usually about $1. As a full-time job, I don't necessarily have time to list these on eBay and ship them out as every time one sells. Sending them to ComC has been so big for me to just say, hey, here's a bunch of cards that I have. And here's me just picking apart the sets. So again, a great way to go through these collections is to quickly go through everything and put them in piles of the same set. And the only reason that's possible is because the back of these older cards have the same color. And we all know, like the junk wax era, there's just so many cards. Inserts really weren't a big thing. Numbered cards weren't really a big thing back in the 90s, right? But numbered cards, this was interesting. This was a ton of just numbered baseball cards. Not low numbered out of 1,500 or 2,000. But I thought these were really cool. This is like all in a pile. I'm like, yeah, I'll sleeve these up and see which ones to send to ComC. But no really huge names yet for baseball. There is a huge name coming up, and probably one of my more favorite cards. Maybe instead of the Jeff Gordon, I should pick that one to keep. But we'll have to see. There's a rookie right there. And man, I thought these were really cool as well. It's like a credit card, debit card with a signature on the back. Wade Boggs, a big name in baseball. And then this was also, I know I keep saying this was my favorite, but this Joy of Baseball was really cool. A Bob Ross collab. And these boxes are not cheap. They're not cheap at all. But obviously the background painted by Bob Ross. On-card painting, obviously. No, not really. And then here were some other just miscellaneous cards that I saw. David Robinson, Alex Smith draft pick, Joe Montana, Steve McNair. So, football, again, my favorite thing to go through. I love seeing the older years, seeing these older players. And now time to get into the binders. This is where we found some really cool cards, or I should just say just a couple of cool cards. So as you see, these binders, like, they do win in the photo category, but they're not really interesting cards. Like, I do think, nowadays the modern cards, the pictures of the actual players are pretty simple. But at least they have, some shine to them, some color. But usually, you can just go through these pretty quick, the binders. Maybe we should start putting things in binders again. So boom, here are the ones that I found. There was a rated rookie, Ken Griffey Jr., really sweet. And I was really excited to see that. They're not worth a ton. If they grade a 10, and these are not. And this is a cool card as well with the signature on the card. That Ken Griffey Jr. rated rookie, I was really happy to pull that. I guess I didn't pull it. I was really happy to find that. And definitely probably the better cards in the collection, to be honest. Again, not worth a ton. I think patience in these auctions will be huge and not overpaying. I'm someone that likes a bunch of cards to go through, but when a bunch of it is just of the same set, older cards that just don't have value, right? I am looking for value. As a collector, I like collecting cards that are worth something. It's not all about the money, but I'm not going to find a $1 card really cool that you can just buy online. I'm going to find what's cool is an exclusive card that might be worth something that not everyone has. And look at this downtown, the original downtown Shaq O'Neal from downtown. That's pretty cool. But speaking of sets, I saw this video and just talking about how younger people just do not set collect. Like, I personally have no interest in set collecting. I'm a collector that I'm very specific with the amount of cards I have. I don't like having a lot of cards. I maybe hold on to 10, 20 cards at a time. Some are PC that I'll never sell and just, hold on to. And which is why I only pick one card per collection to keep. The rest are going to get sold or donated, because I don't want a bunch of those cards. I don't have the room, A, and B, like I said, it needs to have some value for it to be interest of me. So let me know what you think. What do you collect? Do you set collect? How old are you? So here's the last of the cards. I'm projecting in value we'll probably get maybe $80, sending them to ComC, having them sell, and then I'm going to sell the rest probably for $100. There is some value in just the base cards and some of the rookies I didn't pull out and some of the inserts. So overall, this is how much I guess we lost. Again, future videos, I'm going to be a little bit more particular in what I buy, maybe a smaller collection so it's easier to go through on YouTube. But thanks for watching, and bye-bye.